Hello, my name is Jon Bird, and I lead the risk adjustment pillar for clinical performance. And I really appreciate this opportunity today to provide a few updates about the risk adjustment program. I'm going to start with a recap on how we developed our forecast for 2021. And you can see on the chart on the right-hand side that we'd experienced a trend over the last 5 years of between 3 and 8%. 2020 was impacted by COVID-19, but only by approximately 2%. And that's due to the incredible efforts of the markets to provide access, engage our patients, and provide access to them through new and innovative kind of modalities. The other thing this chart shows us is there's a relationship between the underlying RAF scores and the trend. As markets mature, we see that the trend starts to actually flatten. For 2021, we have a forecast of 1.422. That's a 4.3% improvement over 2020 baseline and 5.5% over the 2019. That's equivalent to about 5.8% growth in HCC RAF, and that's a component that reflects the health status of the members. Approximately 60% of our lives are now in mature markets, and we have a trend of about 3% for that membership. But in the new and emerging markets, about 40% of our population, we're closer to the 6% mark. So between that 3 and 6%, we get a blend of 4.3% for the current year. Moving into current year performance, the build-up RAF reported is at 1.340. That's a 94.2% completion factor. And by that, we mean that the current reported build-up RAF is at 94.2% of the full year forecast. That's a little bit better than we have seen historically for this time of the year. We're 6% above our year-to-date forecast, and that year-to-date forecast does include the 4.3% growth we talked about on the previous slide. And we're at 13% above the 2019 for the same period. We continue to report against 2019 rather than 20 because 19 was not impacted by COVID. So we think it gives us a much better comparable. There are a number of drivers of performance. First is the acceleration of the 2021 operating plans, which I think is obviously very great news. We've got more markets that have seen more members and close more gaps at this point in the year. That's given us some of the favorability, but that favorability can be considered as being timing, and we will see some reversal of that timing benefit as the year progresses. I think the other area that I'd want to highlight is the work we've done around the musts. So we're pleased to report an impressive level of engagement in the 3 patient engagement musts that were established in 2021. The first one being wraparound services, which enables markets to leverage nurse practitioners to support the work of the PCPs. Over 60% of our 1.5 million risk adjustment lives have benefited from some kind of wraparound service, whether that's house call, embedded MPs, community centers, etc. We've completed 200,000 in-home visits, and that's 117% of our original target. The second must was co-location programs with a focus on visits with specialists to close gaps. This has been an effective program, but we have experienced some challenges deploying this model with affiliated providers. And then lastly, the new patient programs such as Welcome Wagon. Almost every market has deployed a variation of this program in the current year. I think another driver of performance I'd kind of like to highlight in here is assessment of secondary immunosuppression, HCC 47. This was a number of programs that we rolled out in 2020, and they've been effectively deployed again in 2021. So the outlook for the year, I'd say very positive at this point. As previously mentioned, some of the timing benefit we have through acceleration will reverse, but the expectation is that 2021 build-up RAF will exceed the forecast, and that's likely to be in the 1 to 2% range. One thing I'd like to say also while we're on this slide is at the last CLC meeting, we talked about the deployment of a new reporting capability, which was encounter-based. Pleased to report that that was successfully deployed, and I'd like to take a moment to thank the healthcare economics team and the clinical performance team for all of the work to make to make that happen. And as we move forward, we really do hope that that becomes source of truth for reporting risk adjustment, risk adjustment metrics to the enterprise. So moving into 2022, our planning activity is underway. I'm not going to kind of read the slide, but just want to kind of pick up on a couple of the key objectives, between now and the end of Q1. So for the Build Up RAF forecast, by the end of Q1, we want to establish a forecast, develop a glide path, align with operational plans, align with finance, and deliver the initial performance reporting. And for the musts and best practices, we need to define, communicate, and start execution of those musts before the end of Q1. To do all of this, obviously, it is a collaborative effort, but I have every confidence that we're going to get the full engagement of the markets and our partners. And in closing, I'd like to thank everybody for their ongoing support with these programs. I truly believe they help people live healthier lives and help the system work better for everybody. Thank you.